What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining for today's recap. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of October, and I've had a roller coaster of a day this morning. So I was about to close for the day, shut it down for the day, and do the recap on being down $13. Then we had a stock pop up at 8 because I was waiting for 8 o'clock anyway. I was just getting set up for the recap, and I thought, look, I'll wait for top of the hour and see if I get any news. And lo and behold, we had a stock come in and save the day. I am grateful for it, but I'm not happy because my performance wasn't great today. My accuracy was low. And it's quite frustrating because it's just that tedious balance of knowing when to jump, realizing when you need to jump on an opportunity, or being quick enough to jump on an opportunity, and knowing when you need to be patient and wait for the right setups to come through. I wouldn't say I was forcing trades today. It was just a very typical cold market pop and drop, a pop and flush type sort of action we were getting today. And it is something I'm learned from and learned to recognize from the mistakes in the past. And I guess on reflection, I should have just got traded with 5 shares, not pushed it to 10 or 20 shares. But anyway, I am ending the day green today. I'll show you what that is like. So I'm ending the day on $14.81 in the green. BNBX came in and saved the day for me. And I'll quickly do a recap of where I felt like I made the mistakes. I might not cover all the trades, but I'll just cover some of these earlier ones, especially SHMD and BDSX. So BDSX really frustrated me because I took my first trade in this area and I lost, and I think I was down on 10 shares. I was down between 20 to 40 cents per share, and I sold in 2 lots, 5 and 5. So I got in with 10 shares, then I sold at 5 and 5, and then I waited, and it gave us another move here just before 7 o'clock, and I went to green with it, but I was a bit annoyed because I sold too soon. So I jumped back in and did it. The typical thing of chasing, which then put me back into red. So I was green to more than $2 in it. Then I went into red, $2.44. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I left that alone. And then as you can see, it's been selling off ever since, and it's just out of the picture now anyway. So I guess when I look at that and I think about, okay, where I could have gone right with this is when I went green with it, I should have just left it alone and seen what it would do, especially coming up to 7 o'clock, where most retail traders come online. You do then get this flush because people might have been swing trading this from the day before and they might be selling. Especially now in the cold market, you're going to get a lot more selling pressure, especially you can definitely see that the shorts are in control. So that was BDSX. And then the next stock I traded was AREB, AREB. I'm not going to talk about that because that was one trade in and out. I'm down minus 40 cents on it. Again, that was just, I think I lost 2-3 cents on that. With 20 shares, I went in. But the one that really annoyed me was SHPH. That was unnecessary. I think I should have gone with much smaller shares with this. I went in with 20. I took one trade in it, and that was at 721. So look at it. It just looks like a barcode. It's not even worthy of having a look at. Again, I think the problem with this stock and the one I was talking about before with BDSX is that the volume was just not there. Obviously, this has got a lower float of 935,000. The BDSX has got a float of around 3-point-something million. And at the time I was trading it, I think the overall volume on it was around 1 million. Maybe under 1 million. So I think that also definitely has an impact on it. So this one was terrible trade. 721 I got in. So I got in, I think, for the pop this area here, and I got in right at the top, 439. Yeah, I was hoping for a next move up, but it didn't happen. So I got in at 439, sold for 423. And it was my only trade on it. On reflection, that was not a good trade. It's just not the right trade. Look at it. There's hardly any volume. I think because it popped up on scanners and I thought, hold on, volume is coming in. As you can see, it's got the right profile. But what I should have done is I should have made given a chance to make new high for confirmation, especially if it's not been moving. And it did have news on it, so funny enough, at 7, but of course it wasn't well received. Yeah, we had this massive pop, and I should have known better. So that was $3.20, and on SHMD, I think that was just a bit of a couple of stupid trades on it. I got caught in a flush, which put me down. I went in with 20 at 630, and I sold at 587 and 575. So yeah, that was a big 40-50 cents flush on with 20 shares. So that was a nice. So I think I was down around $12 on it. And what's interesting is, I mean, okay, there's a couple of things to notice here. The float is higher here, so it's a bigger float, 11 million shares. And I missed this move, and I was chasing it. But generally speaking, if you have a move like this, although I'm now looking at it on hindsight, we only had 29,000 shares of volume going through. So it popped up on not a lot of volume. And I can see why it then obviously rejected so badly. I mean, on hindsight, it makes sense. So I went at 733. So I traded this candle, unfortunately. It wasn't red to begin with. I think I was hoping that it would make a new high. And I got in at 630. And I think I missed that pop, and I sold at 587. So yeah, so I got in. I basically, it just basically flushed too quickly. I couldn't get out quick enough. I did recover some in this area, so it's put me down $7.55. I think at one point I was down only $5 on it, but stupidly I went back in again and gave back some more. So, all right, what is the reflection here? The market is colder. These pops, you need to look at the volume. So that these are the points that I'm making notes for myself, mental notes. I'm going to also reflect on and write about in my diary, in my journal, not diary. And you get big pops on low volume, not enough buying power to support it. And of course, it's followed by a flush. So it was a really great pop. If you'd got in right here, you could have, yeah, you had an opportunity to definitely sort of profit. And I'm sure a lot of people made profit on it. I was just not quick enough. And secondly, if I'm then coming in after this candle's closed, then I should wait for more confirmation. So this is that should have been, that would have avoided me losing $7.55, or it was a bit more than that. It was $13 on it, actually. I was quite surprised. And the other thing is, I went in with 20 shares. I should have gone in with 5 or 10 shares. So that was going to be my genuine reflection on this before, obviously, BNBX popped up with news. And I was like, okay, well, where did I go wrong this morning? Obviously, patience was an issue here. I took a silly trade on SHPH, and I think that could have easily been avoided. So that was just a silly mistake. And with SHMD, I took too much size without waiting for confirmation, especially, and didn't pay attention to the volume bar and how much volume it was actually going up on. Now, let's have a look at BNBX. So with BNBX, so it says here I've got 45 tickets. So about 22 trades, but I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think it's about maybe 18 trades that I took. It's just that when you sell it, if I sell half and half, then now that will count those as tickets too. So it says 45 tickets, but I think it's around and I divide that by 2. So let's say 44 divided by 2 is 22. So I think I took about 18 trades roughly, or 19 trades. What but my accuracy is not going to be really good on most of those trades. With BNBX, I only took 3 trades, and all 3s were winners. And as you can see, I'm up $28.40 just on those 3 trades. The first move I captured was quite a big one. I got in at 423, it sold at 549. I should have held, but I think I was like so shaken by the morning anyway, the way the stocks have been behaving, that I didn't feel confident enough to hold. But what I should have done, been up that much, that puts you in a driver's seat. I should have just sold half and then held on to the rest. So I could have been up on a lot more. But in any case, I'm still happy and pleased with the results. It's more than, it's around 1.3 points that I got on that trade with 20 shares. Then the next couple of trades I took was 5 shares, 10 shares, small 10 cents, 10, 20 cents wins. So it put me up about 28.40. But let's have a quick look at this chart anyway. Look, the float is lower. And now let's have a look at the volume bar. So start off, the initial pop is on 20,000 shares. The next pop, 640,000. So you see the difference between this and SHMD, the previous one, which I discussed. And I said I almost lost $13 on that. It was just the volume bars were a lot lighter. But surprisingly, despite the news of the private placement and, you know, being a positive news, look at it, it's just been beaten down. It went up and then it just did a complete reverse. So I'm sure a lot of people would have been caught in this flush because they would have perhaps felt that it would have been strong enough to maybe push higher. But yeah, so it's not nice. We can definitely see we're in a colder market. Shorts are definitely in control here. But I was able to capture this initial move in and out, and this put me back onto green. So not an easy day of trading today. Just annoyed with the accuracy today and yesterday. I've been, really trying hard to be patient and wait for something like this to pop up, because looking at BNBX, which I just showed you, it's easy when you catch trades like that. And everything else that I did apart from this last 3 trades has not been easy. So if I'm being honest with myself, then if it's not easy, doesn't come easy, and you have to really second guess yourself, then I'm forcing the trade. So that's a quite interesting learning for me, observation, I guess, from today and yesterday. And it's a reminder, it's something that I remind myself of. But it's just that you forget that opportunities like this come along and then can just easily make up for, let's say, a day or two of losing trades. So let's say if I hadn't taken any trades yesterday, I would have been up $28.40 today. So it's just remembering days like this and trades like this is that it should be easy. So definitely focusing on A quality setups and A quality trades. But anyway, so that's where we are today. I'll be looking at my stats a bit more later on after this anyway. I'll have a look at the trades. I've recorded some of the trades and a lot of price action. Just good to learn from and just to know what to avoid, really. I think that those are the key areas. And, ultimately, I think even with bigger share size, you only need a handful of good trades a week. And if you can maintain that and avoid losing money on C or D quality setups, then you could become profitable, right? And you could earn a living from it, and then you can just build on that, right? And I feel like I'm on the cusp of learning and understanding that, and it's one thing to know, and it's one thing to then acknowledge and understand what that looks like, and then it's another thing to put it in practice. And I think I'm somewhere in the middle, and I need to now try to put it in practice. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that recap. Definitely a roller coaster day for me, and I hope you've had a better day than me today. I'm not really looking forward to looking at my accuracy. it's not going to be too great because, you know, the focus is on accuracy. Of course, I've gone to green, but I don't care about that. It's just that knowing that, you know, the last 3 trades I took were green, and that would have given me 100% accuracy if I hadn't taken all these other trades, right? So although my P&L is green, my accuracy is low, which is something I want to focus on, and I want to put my efforts and energy on. But in terms of profit to loss ratio, definitely the last 3 trades were really good, spot on. And I couldn't have asked for anything better. But anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.